My husband drained our daughter's college fund and disappeared with his mistress. I was numb with shock until our 12-year-old smirked and said, "Mom, don't worry. I handled it." Days later, the phone rang. His voice was raw with panic, the kind that shakes you from the inside. I already knew what it was about. I walked into our bedroom to find him stuffing clothes into a suitcase, movement frantic as if the house itself were on fire. No explanation, no eye contact, just chaos. "What are you doing?" I asked, my voice trembling. He didn't look up. "What I should have done years ago," he said. The weight of 22 years of marriage, shattered in a few cold words, hit me like a punch to the stomach. Shirts flew into the suitcase while I stood frozen in my pajamas, completely blindsided. "Mark, stop." I grabbed his arm. He shrugged me off like I was a stranger. "Talk to me. What's happening?" Finally, he met my eyes. And what I saw there made my blood run cold. Nothing, no guilt, no regret. Just the icy certainty of someone who had already made up their mind. "I'm leaving today." The world tilted. Just yesterday, we'd been talking about our daughter's college applications over dinner. Yesterday, he kissed my forehead and whispered goodnight. Yesterday, I was a wife. Today, I was watching the life I knew unravel before. Is there someone else?" The words escaped before I could stop them. He paused mid-motion, a dress shirt hovering above the suitcase. A flicker of something remorse crossed his face, and then it was gone. "This isn't about anyone else," he said coldly. "This is about me needing to breathe again." But the signs had been there for months. The phone always faced down, the late meetings, the little lies I pushed aside, until they screamed at me in the silence of the night. "Where will you go?" I whispered. "I'll figure it out," he said, zipping the suitcase with finality. "And transfer my half of the savings to my personal account." I ran downstairs, bare feet slapping the hardwood. Our daughter looked up from her cereal, concern etched across her young face. "Mom, what's wrong?" "Nothing, sweetheart. Dad's just going on a trip." The lie tasted bitter on my tongue. My hands trembled as I logged into our bank account. The numbers froze me in disbelief. Checking $247.83. Savings $0. College fund $0. $75,000 gone in. A heartbeat. 3 days ago, while I was at my book club, he had emptied everything. My hands shook as I called the bank, praying it was a mistake. But no, every transfer was legitimate. Every penny gone. Emma's small voice reached me. "Mom, you're scaring me." I looked at her. School uniform, ponytail, backpack ready completely. Unaware that her father had just stolen her future and walked away, he appeared at the bottom of the stairs, dragging his suitcase. Past us, straight to the door. 22 years, I said, finding strength I didn't know I had. "And you're just walking away?" He paused, hand on the knob. I left a voicemail explaining everything. "I don't want a voicemail," I said. "Look at your daughter and explain why you're abandoning her." Emma stood silently, watching him with sharp, intelligent eyes. He glanced at her for 3 seconds. "You'll understand when you're older," he said, then turned to me. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." The door clicked shut. Emma and I remained in silence, broken only by the coffee maker and the hum of the fridge. "Is he coming back?" she asked. I shook my head. She nodded, already processing the truth. "Did he take our money?" I swallowed hard. "My college fund too." She didn't cry, didn't panic. She just cleaned her breakfast dishes, her movements calm and deliberate. Then she turned to me. "Mom, don't worry. I handled it." Her words hung in the air, impossible to ignore. She was 12. How could she possibly have handled it? Yet the confidence in her voice left me frozen. No bravado, no childish comfort, just quiet, unwavering assurance. She grabbed her backpack and headed for the door. I'll miss my bus if I don't leave now. We'll talk after school, okay? And she was gone, leaving me alone in a house that suddenly felt enormous and impossibly empty. The first week without him was surreal. The house wasn't just empty, it felt alive, watching. I found myself crying at random moments, folding abandoned. Laundry, seeing his coffee mug, hearing Emma's alarm clock. But Emma, she moved through it like nothing had changed. 7:15 every morning, fully dressed, backpack organized, lunch packed. Have a good day, Mom, she'd say, in the same cheerful tone as when our family was whole. One morning, I asked, catching her wrist. Are you okay, sweetheart? I'm fine, Mom. Are you? I wasn't, but I couldn't burden her. That evening, I called my sister for advice. The clicking upstairs from Emma's laptop never stopped intense, purposeful. She was processing, working through it in the only way she knew how. Dinner didn't break her focus. She ate, brief and polite. She returned to her laptop as soon. As I left, meticulous, deliberate. Even in chaos, she was already 2 steps ahead. And somehow, in the midst of my devastation, I realized Emma had handled it. The uneasy feeling lingered long after she left, like a shadow I couldn't shake. Over the next few days, the pattern continued. Emma moved through her perfect routine, while I spiraled deeper into confusion and grief. I'd wake up at 3 a.m., heart racing, panic pressing against my chest. I checked our bank accounts obsessively, called Mark's number just to hear the voicemail. Meanwhile, Emma emerged each morning rested, composed, calm. The typing started again, each night quiet, precise, relentless. On Friday evening, as I folded her laundry, something caught my eye. A single sheet of paper peeked out from under her science textbook, printed, perfectly formatted, and impossible to ignore. My blood ran cold when I saw the names at the top. Mark and Rebecca. Hands trembling, I pulled the paper free. The messages were from 3 weeks ago, before Mark left discussing meetings, hotel reservations, and some plan involving Sarah. I sank onto Emma's bed, stunned. My 12-year-old daughter had somehow accessed her father's private emails. How? Mom? Emma's voice cut through my shock. She stood in the doorway, empty dinner plate in hand, eyes calm, analyzing. No shame, no panic, just focus. Where did this come from? I asked. Dad's not very good with passwords, she said, placing her plate down and closing the door behind her. How long have you known about Rebecca? 6 weeks. And the money? I figured that out the day before he left. 6 weeks. I felt sick. While I'd been oblivious, my child had been living with this knowledge, planning, preparing. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice trembling. Emma sat beside me, suddenly just a 12-year-old again. I wanted to be sure. And I needed to figure out what to do. Honey, this isn't your responsibility. Yes, it is, she said, voice firm. He stole my college fund. He lied to both of us. Someone had to do something. I looked around her room with new eyes. Her organized desk, her deliberate routines, her unnerving calm, it all meant something. What else do you know? Emma retrieved a spiral notebook from under her mattress, handing it to me without hesitation. Pages upon pages of handwritten notes, printed screenshots, diagrams, and lists of numbers. Emma, what is all this? Dad thinks he's smart, but he's careless. Same password for everything, doesn't clear browser history, doesn't log out. I've been keeping track. I flipped through it, heart hammering, financial records, screenshots of messages, travel itineraries. My daughter had been conducting surveillance on her own father. It was incredible and terrifying. I learned most of it from YouTube tutorials. Computer security is fascinating once you understand the basics. Emma. Hacking is illegal. She looked at me with a maturity that chilled me. Neither is stealing $75,000 from your daughter's college fund. Her quiet, confident tone sent shivers down my spine. She was no longer my little girl. She was someone else entirely. What are you planning to do with all this? I'm still figuring that part out. But don't worry, Mom. I've got this handled. The words hit differently now. Calm, calculated, deliberate. I realized I might not know my own daughter at all. She opened her laptop, a folder labeled Science Fair Project, filled with subfolders, financial records, communication logs, identity theft evidence. It started with Dad's second phone, she explained. I saw him checking it one night, left it charging in his office. I got in. That's how I found Rebecca. A flood of screenshots filled the screen, messages planning their future, discussing how to handle Sarah without losing money. She works at Dad's accounting firm, Emma continued. Handles client investments and trust accounts. I found everything: address, family, work history, credit score, even her Netflix password. She's been stealing from her clients for 2 years. My stomach churned. Emma had accessed her work. Computer collected proof. How did you even do this? I asked. YouTube mostly. Forums, tutorials. People are predictable with passwords. She shrugged. I stared, a stranger beside me. My own child operating like a professional investigator. She opened another folder, bank statements in my name, accounts I'd never opened, forged loan documents, credit applications. Dad didn't just take our money. He's using our identities for a $200,000 loan. That $75,000 was just the down payment for a house in Florida. They were going to leave us with the debt. Identity theft, fraud, systematic destruction of everything we had built. But Emma's voice was calm, cold. I caught them before they could complete the purchase. She opened the countermeasures folder, fraud reports, complaints, anonymous tips, documentation. 3 weeks, she said. I dismantled their plans piece by piece. Rebecca got suspended. Clients pulled. Accounts. Investigations launched. The mortgage denied. Emma had even contacted her father with the evidence. I've protected us, she said, closing the laptop. Dad thought he could steal from us and walk away clean. Wrong. I felt a mixture of pride, fear, and disbelief. My 12-year-old had saved us. That night, I lay awake listening to the soft clicks of her keyboard. Emma was still working, planning, protecting us in ways I couldn't fully understand. Grateful? Yes. Afraid? Even more. The phone rang at 2:15 p.m. on Tuesday. Mark, my hands, still wet from dishes, fumbled for the phone. We need to talk. Something strange is happening, he said, panicked. What kind of strange? Emma appeared in the doorway, calm as ever, her laptop glowing. Rebecca was fired. Accounts flagged for federal review. Someone's targeting us. Mark froze. Sarah, did you hire someone? I didn't, I said. Then who? He whispered, horrified. Emma calmly manipulated her laptop. Emails, financial documents, Liv. Data streams. He was watching himself being exposed in real time. Hi, Dad, Emma said, taking the phone from me. Calm and precise. You stole $75,000 from my college fund, she stated plainly. Silence stretched for 10 seconds. You used my identity for a mortgage in Florida. Everything's being undone, and we're not scared anymore. I realized then my daughter wasn't just protecting us. She was unstoppable. Mark's voice cracked over the line. Emma, listen carefully. Adults sometimes make financial decisions. Kids can't fully understand. What looks wrong to you might not be. I have copies of everything, Dad, Emma interrupted, her tone calm, precise. Every email between you and Rebecca, every forged document, every illegal transaction. I've been watching you for weeks. Mark's breathing hitched. You've been watching me? What does that mean? It means I know about the second phone you thought was hidden. I know about the fake investment accounts Rebecca used to steal money. I know about the house you tried to buy using my identity. Emma's voice never wavered. And I know when the money ran out and Rebecca got fired, she stopped returning. Your calls. How could you possibly know that? He gasped, because I'm monitoring all your communications. I've been watching both of you destroy yourselves, piece by piece. She sat at the kitchen table, phone in hand, composed, unshaken. Rebecca blocked your number yesterday after her father cut her off financially. She's already started. Dating someone else? The sound that came through the phone was somewhere between a sob and a scream. Emma, please. I know I made mistakes, but I'm still your father. I love you. I love your mother. I never meant for things to go this far. You chose her over us, Dad. You chose money over your family. You stole my future to pay for your new life. Her voice was steady, factual. Actions have consequences. You taught me that when you walked out of our house with your suitcase. I'm begging you, please. Whatever you've done, whatever you know, just stop. I have nothing left. I'm living in my car because I can't pass a credit check. I can't get a job because of financial fraud flags. Please. Emma looked at him calmly. You taught me something important, Dad. You taught me that the people who are supposed to protect you sometimes don't, so you have to protect yourself. She hung up. The silence that followed was deafening. He won't call back, she said matter-of-factly. How do you know? Because now he knows I'm watching. Every move he makes, I'll see it coming. She picked up her laptop and headed to her room. I have homework to finish. I stood in the kitchen, hands gripping the counter, finally realizing my 12-year-old had dismantled a grown man's life with the same calm precision most kids reserve for homework. Pride mingled with fear. She had protected us when I see OUN single quotes T dot the next morning. Emma appeared at breakfast like any other middle schooler. Cereal, backpack, a kiss on the cheek. Emma, wait, are you okay? I'm fine, Mom. Why wouldn't I be? Because of yesterday with your father? What about it? Her complete lack of visible emotion unnerved me. Honey, you just had a very intense conversation with Dad. It's normal to feel upset. I'm not upset. I'm relieved. He knows I know what he did and that there are consequences. Do you miss him? Miss him? The dad I thought he was, I missed him, but that person was never real. He was just a character, convenient when he needed to be. The matter-of-fact way she analyzed her feelings terrified me. You should talk to someone, a counselor, to work through this. I'm not having big emotions, Mom. I'm having appropriate emotions. But if it makes you feel better, I don't mind talking to someone. Dr. Reeves, a child psychologist specializing in gifted children, explained to me later, gifted children often intellectualize emotions rather than feeling them traditionally. Some respond to trauma by taking control of their environment. Emma isn't broken, she's adapted. Emma continued to channel her experience into positive action. She created a guide titled Digital Safety for Families, Warning Signs and Protection Strategies, teaching kids and adults how to spot fraud, secure accounts, and recover stolen money. I want to turn this into a nonprofit when I'm 18, she said one evening. Free protection services for families who can't afford private consultants. She even started helping other children directly, speaking calmly on video calls to guide families whose trust had been violated. Her trauma had transformed into purpose. 2 months later, a reporter came to the library. We'd like to thank whoever provided evidence in the Rebecca Sterling case, she said. Emma, casually finishing her homework, smiled. They'll never connect it to me. I used proxies and cryptocurrency. Everything I did was secure. Her actions triggered a nationwide investigation, helped dozens of families recover stolen funds, and established her as a silent guardian in her community, Later, she revealed she had even turned down a lucrative tech scholarship. They want to own what I create. I already have a job, she said, showing me her consulting business card, E. Patterson, Family Financial Protection Consultant. She was 13, running her own business, legally helping families recover from fraud, and even speaking at cybersecurity conferences. One evening, after listening to Emma guide another family through digital security, I realized the truth. Mark had tried to destroy us, but Emma had created something far greater. She had transformed betrayal into strength, trauma into protection, pain into purpose. Breakfast the next day looked normal. But underneath that ordinary exterior was someone extraordinary, a child who had turned the worst experience of her life into a force for good. Ready for school? I asked, always, she said, shoulders squared, backpack in place. Oh, and Mom, I love you. I love you too, sweetheart. Mark's betrayal hadn't destroyed us. It had revealed what we were truly made of. Emma had won more than just as she had won her future, and she was using it to protect countless other families.